Good evening. On this June issue of Outlook Video, Roberta interviews Dr. Ayleen Augustine. Ajay Franciscus interviews Brian Obino, chair of the Communications Committee for the upcoming Equality March in San Jose. Bennett Marks brings us another insightful and thoughtful commentary. Gabriela Antolovich interviews Jeremy Barrows, community organizer for Siren. Good evening and welcome to Outlook Video, your nationally recognized award-winning news magazine for the LGBTQ community. I'm Christine Hancock.
And I'm Tom Smith. In this month's program, Roberta will be interviewing Dr. Ayleen Augustine. Dr. Ayleen is an ordained reverend with the Universal Church of the Master, founder of the Healing House Healing Ministries, and associate pastor of the Center for Creative Living in San Jose, California. She is a Reiki Master and is also a host of a weekly international radio show and an author.
You know, not only have I had this shoulder pain, I've also been feeling a little down.
Well, Dr. Ayleen will treat your whole being and help your body with uplifting from within.
I look forward to hearing about her healing. Ajay will be interviewing Brian Obino. He's Chair Communications Committee for the Equality March San Jose. The upcoming march is to defend inclusion, celebrate diversity, and ensure the equal protection of human rights for all. Equality March will be on June 11th, starting at San Jose City Hall, and leads to the Unity and Pride Rally at Plaza de Cesar Chavez, beginning at 1 p.m. We will learn more about this from our guest, Brian Obino.
Bennett Marks recently met one of his heroes, i.e. cartoonist Howard Cruz. We'll hear Bennett comment about how Howard's pioneering works continue to inspire us today.
Gabriela Antolovich will speak with Jeremy Barrows of Siren. He was one of the presenters at the recent Billy DeFrank Immigration Resources Fair. Siren stands for Services, Immigration Rights, and Educational Network.
Siren's mission is to empower low-income immigrants and refugees in Santa Clara County through community education and organizing.
Let's start this month's show with Roberta Gonzalez-Gregg and her interview with Dr. Ayleen Augustine.
Dr. Ayleen Augustine, Director of Healing House Ministries, has performed healing works in 8 countries across 4 continents. She's a graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic West, certified massage therapist, and master Reiki practitioner. She balances her healing practices with indigenous healing traditions and spiritual healings as an ordained reverend of the United Church of the Master. Dr. Ayleen is in her, which is her preferred title, shares with us her knowledge, practices, and common good for humankind. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, besides that hat, you wear many hats, don't you?
Why, yes, I do.
Yes.
And I find myself tremendously blessed each and every day for being able to wear as many hats as I do.
Now, you've been doing this for how long?
Well, I began formal training in indigenous practices right after I graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic West. And prior to that, I had been a massage therapist.
Okay.
So healing was always something that was a passion for me on many levels. And it was in 2014 that I was ordained as a reverend of the Universal Church of the Masters. And I began my work as the associate pastor for the Center for Creative Living here in San Jose.
Very good. Speaking of the Center for Creative Living, this is where the Rejuvenation Fair takes place.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm used to seeing fairs that happen once a year, you know, springtime, summertime, or wintertime fairs. This fair happens 4 times a year, and it does something very special for the LGBT community. Please tell us about that.
Well, it is with tremendous joy that I can say that I'm a part of the Rejuvenation Fair. It began about 25 years ago, and it was designed as a support system for AIDS patients and their caregivers. When people come to the Rejuvenation Fair, it is really about that rejuvenation. They come in, they're hugged, they have a wonderful breakfast. We have a main circle that gathers where people can not only talk about what it is that brought them there, but there's a candle lighting ceremony where they light candles in memory of those who have passed. And then they break out, they have support groups that some are for the caregivers, some are for the patients. They have one that's solely in Spanish.
Oh,
And
that's
it
great.
gives people an opportunity to really sit and talk about what they're doing and what they're going through, and to support one another. They're given a catered lunch, and then in the afternoon, myself and several other practitioners provide free care for the people who are participating. So they sign up in the morning.
This is
and
fantastic.
They basically take over the building. They do art projects.
What a
And
great service to the community.
Yeah, they
and this
just
is done
nurtured.
4 times a year.
4 times a year, every 3 months.
So you have repeat clients who come?
Yes, we do. And it's really special because often many of them, either through their economic circumstances or through distance, they can't travel that well. They can't really get in for regular care. They can't get in, and many of them, don't get out very much at all. And yet they come to this every 3 months, and they're able to be supported, and it continues. And so, when we see somebody, after another 3 months, they get to share what they've been doing. And sometimes people maybe, if they're missed, then we know to look for them. We know to ask about them.
That's great to know that you're having that support for the community, but you're having somebody who's really watching your back. And speaking of which, you also do, as a reverend, you're helping uplift people in their spiritual and emotional levels as well. Physically, our bodies are telling us, okay, I've got a pain here and there, and you're willing to take care of that. But you're also uplifting people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's the whole holistic idea. It's body, mind, and spirit. If any one of those are missing, you're not going to get the wellness that you possibly could. If somebody is carrying around, really something weighing on their hearts, their body is going to respond. They're going to be tighter. They're going to be bending forward, and that's going to disrupt the spinal alignment. So by helping them to recognize what it is that really is contributing on a mental, physical, and emotional level, and a spiritual level. Some people just need to feel connected to something bigger than themselves in order to trust that that healing can come through for them.
And this is something that you also do on YouTube. You have some tremendous YouTube videos. I've watched a couple of them, and they are fantastic. I love your talks. And you do this how often?
Well, it is every Thursday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's called Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. And I chose the phrase medicine walk, medicine as something that comes in to restore balance, because for me, when there's balance, there's wellness. And that which disrupts the balance can be addressed to bring it back into a place of balance again. And the walk is forward motion. We need to understand that we are constantly moving as we're sitting here, we're not moving, and yet we're on a planet that is screaming through the universe.
Wow.
And so we're always in motion, we're always moving forward, but sometimes people forget that, and as they become stagnant in their energy, their bodies can become stagnant in a place of a lack of wellness.
Yes, and this can go through different emotions of fear and anger and stress and pressure, which you've all spoken about. You've spoken about very, very eloquently on your videos. How you can get in touch with her, maybe visit her at her office or there at the Creative Living. And thank you so much for sharing this. Uplift yourselves. Thank you for uplifting us this evening and by joining us.
Thank you.
You really